Morgan Rogers moving to Chelsea. It was announced over the weekend that, it was out of nowhere, £117 million that Chelsea have decided to activate that and sign Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. For a couple of Arsenal fans, they probably felt disappointed knowing
Why?
that. Yeah, for when you are linked with a player and then you see that this player is actually a very decent player, maybe they will not feel bad because of the amount Chelsea paid, but let's dissect Morgan Rogers quickly. Morgan Rogers going to Chelsea, does it fit into Xabi Alonso's what Xabi Alonso's plan is for Chelsea? And then do you think maybe some way, ignoring the financial side of it, maybe it would have also been a good fit for Arsenal?
I don't think it would have been a good fit for Arsenal. Arsenal have quite enough dose of English players. Adding one more would be a problem. It might become another Grealish who have one great season and then his career petered out. When Arsenal signed Iberichi, you remember my famous position. Arsenal have just signed a player that they don't need because Eze is one good game in every 10. And, Eze is more of a social experiment, in my opinion, than a real football player that will go in the shindig. When Vieira played for Arsenal, you see him every game. So if he plays 38 games, he can have maybe 4 or 5 bad games, plus the red card he will pick. But over 30 games, he's going to give you 70, 80 to 90, if not 100% consistently. Eze is not that kind of guy. Now, Morgan Rogers, the only thing that was good when he was linked with Arsenal is the fact that he could play multiple positions. He could play in the midfield and also play on the left side, on the wide area, and also go to the right side to cover. Having said that, Arsenal need like Mikolo would say, a level raiser, a Farastella type of player, a Dembele type of player, a player that comes in and you know that he's going to give you something way better than what you have before. Yeah. Because Arsenal are now in a place where the expectation is defend the league title, something that you've not been able to do in eons, and then go and win the Champions League. Follow the sequence that you have created for yourself, that you get to one level, the next year you get better, you get to that level and get better. You understand? Quarterfinals of the Champions League. The next season they went to the semifinals. From semifinals, the next season they got to the finals. This expectation is not go to the final. Would Morgan Rogers have given Arsenal the lift to go to win the Champions League? I don't think he would have. Trossard has gone to Besiktas. Would he be a perfect replacement for Trossard? He's an English player. English players are not good with holding the ball. And that thing that Trossard brought that made him able to hold the ball, twist and turn, create goals, and also score, even though he didn't score that much last season, I don't think he's got it. And in Martinelli is a player that can also give you multiple options. He can play through the middle, even though Arteta is afraid to play him because sometimes he can be very, very lightweight. But then if you want to bring a player in the wide area, you now need to bring a player that can give you direct, that is above a Doku, more like a Doué. I would go for, if the market is available, if I want to spend 170 million, I'll go to Paris Saint-Germain and say, I need Farastella. Now, if I can't get Farastella, then I would ask for Bradley Barcola. Because those are players that, if you ask me any day, I think they're better than Morgan Rogers. And I don't think Bradley Barcola will cost that amount. Unless now that the markets have decided to play funny, everybody want to price their players like that. Like if somebody can pay 117 for Morgan Rogers, this is what we want for this one, maybe 150 for Bradley Barcola. But what will change is Bradley Barcola knows that he will not get a regular playing time in Paris Saint-Germain. So if Arsenal is pitching to him and say, okay, you play more games, you will be more consistent, and we're competing for the Champions League, we'll play you guys in the finals. It wasn't that easy. You guys sweat for it and went to penalties. It was penalty misses by 2 of our players that cost you guys to win it. So that can move the needle. For Chelsea, we cannot tell whether any player they are signing now is good for Xabi Alonso, because Chelsea is coming off the back of a very horrible season. Yes, they will not be playing in Europe, if my memory serves me right.
At all.
So they would have that relaxation of playing once every week, relax, recover, and come back again. Does he have the component that will not make a 117 million pounds player, play fully? Does Chelsea have it? Are they going to sell Enzo Fernandez, or they are going to find a way to bring him to play and forget about the Real Madrid conversation? They've lost Cucurella. Have they replaced him? Is Gusto the defender? Yes, he did well in this World Cup, but is it the defender that you can bank on and say he will come in and hold the fort? Is Rice true with his injury demons? And then, the entire front line. Is Kopama the guy you want to bank on to lead you to glory? Yes, he led you to win the Club World Cup, but would he lead you to glory in the league as it is right now? That's the competition you have. So I don't know if they have all the elements together that will make it work, but there is no way in any universe where I would pay 100 million for a Morgan Rogers. No, it's not gonna add another 70 million.
extra.
I think that's Morgan Rogers at best is 50, 60 million pounds player. Anything above that, I don't think it's good. And I'm not speaking as an Arsenal player. When the rumor first broke, I was one of those who said, I don't think Arsenal needs him. There is enough not regular, not present, absent-minded players in the team. You don't want another one. Bukayo Saka might not be available for all your games because of his injuries,
Yes.
Achilles heels problem. So it's not something that easily goes away. That can even make him retire. That's what retired Marco Van Basten at the age of 29. And those kind of injuries are not the ones that you can sprint on week in, week out. You sprint this week, next week you're feeling pain like somebody's using needle to stab the heels of your leg, and then you have to rest, and you could be 2 months, 3 months, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depends. And when you're absent, who comes in? And then you now have another guy that has deceived everybody. Yes, Arsenal won the league title last season, but you can't say it's on the back of Bukayo Saka and other guys' great performances. It's other people. Now, can you bank on Ibericheze to hold the fort in that number 10? No. Morgan Rogers, would it be the number 10 that can spray passes left, right, and through the middle? Not the guy. We saw him at the World Cup. He's good in being a squad player, but it's not the kind of player that will lead your attack, that your midfield and deliver on expectation like a Kevin De Bruyne, like an Ozil, like a Toni Kroos or Luka Modric. So why would I spend 117 million or more for him? I think that Arsenal, in my opinion, have dodged the bullet. And we've seen that many times. Arsenal signed a player for 72 million and sold Alex Iwobi. That player ended up being Nicolas Yaya-Sanogo Pepe. We know how it turned out to be. As much as I'm not a fan of Alex Iwobi, there's no way in this world I would sell Alex Iwobi to spend 72 million on Nicolas Yaya-Sanogo Pepe. You right? So it's the same thing with this ones. If Trossard is going, Arsenal need another European player, not an English player. If you have too many English players in your team, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a sign that you don't want to win anything. So you can have 2 or 3. Arsenal already have 3. Bukayo Saka in 4. Miles Lewis Kelly, Bukayo Saka, and what's the other one? Declan Rice. And then if you add Ben White, if he doesn't go, that's 4. So that's enough. And there are some games where all 4 start and play to the end. So you don't want another one. Arsenal should go and look for players that are technically gifted, players that can operate in tight spaces, not players that always want to play route one. Oh, kick the ball ahead, let us run. Let's outmuscle each other. Nah. Arsenal need players that can dictate the pace of the game, bring the tempo down when they need to, and raise it when they need to. That's what they need. I would go for a Bradley Bacola or Bacoli, whatever his name is.
What about the Greek signing?
That's a squad player. That's one player that just filled the gap. It's like the Nkapie and Mascara signing. And then let's not forget that Arsenal would have to look at Saliba and say it's not going to be available for the opening 2 months of the season, right? Arsenal needs a defender. They should prioritize their needs. Arsenal is not going to be able to spend 300 million this window. Yes, they made quite a lot of money from winning the league and going to the finals of the Champions League, but last summer they spent 250 million. I'm not sure they're going to do that. Probably they have to sell. They sold Trossard 20 million euros. That's about 16 or 15 million pounds. So they have to recoup good money. And who are the players that are available to be sold? You look at all that. Hopefully they are able to sell Odegaard. If they sell Odegaard and then get maybe a few money from somewhere else, yeah, then they can start spending. But even at that, they should. I would rather, if Arsenal wants to win the Champions League, look at the teams that have won the Champions League. They've not won it with English players dominating their play. Even when Man City won it, even when Liverpool won it. So what do you think those people know that you don't know, that you can do better, that want to make you put English players dominating your team? It's like putting an English coach on your team and you want to go and win a title. You can't win a title with an English manager on your team. You have to look for a foreign manager. Aston Villa have been having English manager. Once they have a foreign manager in Unai Emery, they won the Europa. Again, Liverpool. have English managers didn't do anything. Rafa Benitez came, he won the Champions League. Jurgen Klopp came, won the Champions League, won the league, and all the titles. So you can see that in England, there is a very careful basket where you put too many English players in your team is a recipe for disaster. They're not, the league, English football is no longer producing the John Terry's and Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard and Bosco's again. So let's know that we have social media players now, and the European players are a lot more hungry, more committed than the English players. The English players are superstars even before they start kicking a game, and you don't want that in your team.
All right, thank you very much for having me, or thank you for also having me on the show. So on that note, we'll wrap up this segment with the Elegbete one of sports, the Mede chief.
I know you wanted to say that.
Yes, I'll see you again next time.